Hey guys, and welcome back to the second HellfireComms Disneython. We've got a real golden oldie for you all today. We're going to be checking out Pinocchio, which is actually the second film in the Disney animated canon, coming right after Snow White. I've got Helldragon with me here today, and we're just going to get right on into it. Everything you guys need is in the video description. As for us, here comes the words that will play over the movie and thus create a Hellfire commentary. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Okie dokie, Pinocchio. Here we go. Alright, Pinocchio came out in February of 1940, so it's pretty fucking old. Much older than I would guess most of the people listening to this commentary right now. And
Same here, man.
And Pinocchio originally was a novel, published, I believe, in 1881, but it was published as a book 2 years later. It originally came out as like installments in an Italian magazine, but the whole thing was written by Carlo Collodi, and that's got 2 L's in there, so God knows how you pronounce that. The name Pinocchio literally means little wooden head. There you go. That's all the trivia you're getting for this part of the movie. Helldragon, when did you first watch Pinocchio?
I believe I first watched Pinocchio in about 7th or 8th grade, because I know it definitely wasn't in high school. And it seemed like, one of those movies that they slap on to kind of keep the class busy when it's like a half day, or the teacher is fucking lazy. I mean, that's how I watched Monsters, Inc. for the first time, legit. So I have seen it. It's been a long time, but there are still parts and bits of it that stick out distinctly to me. Because when you look at it, Pinocchio's a really fucking weird movie.
Well, in the original, novel, Jiminy Cricket doesn't really, talk and sing and whatnot. In fact, Pinocchio kills him with a hammer.
Fucking what?
I know, right? It's like some kind of Rob Zombie film.
The movie version is slightly different than that, and these days most people tend to know Pinocchio from the Kingdom Hearts games, because otherwise, I have to say, even though Pinocchio is regarded as like a classic of the Disney animated canon, I just don't think it gets a lot of presence compared to all the other ones, usually with the princesses in them, of course. Like I said, Pinocchio is a weird fucking movie. This was made in the 1940s. I was but a twinkle in my great-grandfather's eye. And the stuff that surrounds this movie is very different from what kids these days would be exposed to, I think. So I think it kind of brings up a bit of awkwardness that Disney doesn't really want to address, you know what I'm saying?
So here we have Jiminy Cricket. He'll be playing the conscience role for Pinocchio because, for whatever reason, they wanted Pinocchio to learn his own lessons. You guys probably know all about this right now. I'm not really worried about spoilers and whatnot. You may have noticed, actually, a bit of an Easter egg. There were books for Alice in Wonderland and also Peter Pan back there while Jiminy was doing his old singing shtick. They would obviously be adapted into Disney movies later on down the line.
Oh, I see. It's like Easter eggs for the upcoming seasons of Pinocchio. You know how that works, right?
Oh, yeah. Just so long as it's not the Geppetto film starring Drew Carey. Oh, I loved that movie as a kid, but looking back, oh boy, he deserved every bit of the blasting he got. On whose line is it anyway?
I have no idea why they chose Drew Carey, of all people, to be Geppetto in that movie, because I haven't seen the movie, but I have seen, one bit where near the end, I think he's, singing to the Blue Fairy about trying to, get all Pinocchio saved and stuff like that, and it's just the awkwardest shit I've seen.
Oh, it's the thing to do with his favourite chair, right?
I believe so, yeah. It's just, it makes no sense.
It's not the Blue Fairy he's singing to. I forget his name. It may be Stromboli, but don't quote me on that. But, yeah, we're not here to talk about that IMDb favourite. Disney's Pinocchio. It isn't really a film I always tend to go back and watch, but I have always had, a fondness for it in my own one heart, because God knows I've yet to become a real boy, or a real man, for that matter. But it's got kind of a rich, luscious art style to it. Lots of warm colours, lots of rich, dark, blues and greens and reds and so on and so forth. And basically, I'm just, farting out pretentious twaffle right now. That's twat waffle, so there you go. We're making portmanteaus as we commentate.
This is basically the first recorded instance of Disney's main animated canon features having titles that are only one word, which will be repeated later on with Tangled, Frozen, and now Moana.
Yep. Yep.
Oh man, Disney has come a long way though. I mean, this is, like you said, the second animated feature canon, and it's just considering what we're getting these days, like wow, it's just like supremely distinct and a lot more family friendly because we got to do the merchandise, kids. Although I imagine this was made in like the 90s or something like that, they'd be shoving like Pinocchio puppets and dolls on the actual shelves. I don't know if they ever made any toys of this movie. I'd have to look into that.
Well, Pinocchio himself is a toy, so I would be surprised if they didn't.
Well, I mean, like, you remember when, like, Toy Story came out, right? And then it just completely invalidated the whole concept of toys, not actually being toys all the way by having toys of them being sold. And then they re-released the fucking things later on, which was nuts.
Yeah, Buzz Lightyear was the hot thing. It was the fad of, like, the late 90s. Oh, I love Figaro.
Yeah, he's a cute little kitty, although then later on I'll see some other kitties that I actually have to bring up questions about when you think about it.
Alright, let's go down, like, the voice list here. That's actually Mel Blanc as Figaro.
Really?
Yeah, he was uncredited. He actually was going to voice, like, fully voice act a character we'll see later on called Gideon. The cat I believe you were just referring to there.
Mm-hmm, yeah, that guy.
But all his, like, work was cut out or something, I don't know why. I'll give the trivia list a quick look-see. So let me see if I can find Geppetto here. Christian Rubb, but he was uncredited. Man, there's a lot of uncredited stuff here in the old IMDb list.
I don't really think they had that back in the 1940s, Tom, so I imagine you'll have to dig a little bit deeper if you want to find all the, voice actors who actually got credited in this movie.
Is that a potato wearing a bandana?
It might be,
That potato rolls deep.
Or he knows Kung Fu, which is what I believe he is, because he's like a red belt or something like that.
So Geppetto is... I forget whether he's a woodsmith or a carpenter. I'm leaning more towards carpenter right now. But I guess for whatever reason, because he was so devoted to his craft, he never had time to meet a special signora, settle down and have a child. So he decides to make one, all of his own.
You phrased that, and for a brief moment I thought you were going to make a reference to him making an actual woman. Now this is actually a myth. It was, I don't remember the name. Pygmalion, Galatea, yeah, that kind of thing.
There you go.
And I can sort of see the callback to that a little bit, except here, of course, he decided to make like his own little boy, and things like that.
Oh, poor Jiminy, he's just getting... I think the only word for it is abused at the first part of this movie.
Well, I mean, like, they do kill him in the book, supposedly,
with
like
a
you
hammer.
said.
Did I mention
with a hammer?
Did I mention he comes back as a ghost, by the way?
Oh! I don't think you did, no.
Jiminy fucking Cricket comes back as a Force ghost.
Man, why? I'm trying to imagine the thought process going behind the original novel. I may have to read it out of curiosity. I probably won't. But I do have to wonder, like, what possessed this man to go, okay, I'm going to have this cricket, give him a name, kill him, and then make him come back as a specter? Like, what the hell?
Oh, well, in the original novel, Pinocchio was not as, like, sympathetic or as friendly as we'll see him here. He was a lot more mischievous. I'd liken him to basically Loki.
You'll notice, even early back, in early Disney films, they have the tendency to basically adapt movies out of books, and often, make them more family-friendly, because as you know, like, the most popular example of this is The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is a very different movie in comparison to the book.
Yeah...
I don't think Victor Hugo wrote anything about sarcastic talking gargoyles, voiced by celebrities, of course.
Oh, you just gotta, like, dig a little deeper into the original text. It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal.
I don't know why the fish is given the puppet eyes. That's just a little odd to me.
You ever seen a goldfish give you bedroom eyes? It's very uncomfortable.
Well, they forget what was happening 15 seconds later, so I think it's okay.
Oh my god, the implications.
Yes, it turns out Pinocchio is my little Spider-Man.
Ah, yes. Fuck Tom Holland. I'm going to Marvel with this idea. Man, how crazy is that? Because now Marvel is owned by Disney.
That's true, yeah. I kind of want to see a 1940s Marvel. I'm pretty sure they have done something like... Okay, well, to be fair, Captain America is technically 1940s Marvel when you think about it.
Technically, yeah. There's also Spider-Man Noir. I'm not really sure what time period that takes place in, but it's pretty cool all the same.
I believe that's more of the Roaring Twenties. A lot of, like you said, noir kind of stuff in the jungle, things like that.
I think the Prohibition era is one of my favourite parts of history, although maybe Boardwalk Empire is influencing that quite a bit.
Yeah, without all that alcohol getting in the way, people can go have actual adventures. I know.
Maybe this movie was the start of my love of like clocks and gears and whatnot, because take a look, guys, you've got a veritable smorgasbord, nay, a rainbow of clocks here, all shapes, all sizes.
I guess he's bored, but I'm pretty sure building like 15 clocks is like the first sign of madness. I don't know about you, but
yeah, I'd get to 13 and think, maybe it's time to stop and go to bed.
I'm gonna time each of my meals and each of the times I have to take a pill 15 times a day. Why do you make a clock about somebody slapping their kid's ass? That's just like, now you're just kind of reaching for ideas when you think about it.
Everyone must sleep when Geppetto sleeps. It is the law in Geppetto's house.
So is there like an explained reason why he can't just like adopt somebody? Is he too poor? Which actually is probably a good, explanation for that kind of thing. He's too poor to do it.
Well, I don't know. His house looks pretty pimped out. I mean, I know he made all these clocks and whatnot himself, but he's able to keep a cat, a goldfish himself in pretty good like stock and whatnot.
Well, it's not like the fish is a huge responsibility, let's be honest. It's a fucking fish. You give it a few flakes and you go on with your day.
How progressive of Disney to make a cat and a goldfish a couple.
I know. I'm just very glad that in this recent age, back in the 1940s, they were able to do something so progressive as that.
Oh, you're such a fuckboy. Don't encourage me when I make these statements. Rebel! Rebel!
Now the cricket's gonna be bumming on the carpenter as well.
You really could have phrased that better.
I wonder what Jiminy's job was before he became a conscience. Clearly it didn't pay enough considering the state of his garb.
Vagrant.
Oh man, back in the day when they allowed you to show smoking in kids' movies. Actually, speaking of Disney and Marvel, and I don't know if this rule is still in effect, I believe it is, but when Joe Quesada became like the editor-in-chief, he actually implemented a rule where characters cannot smoke. And, like, they would sometimes take time out of comics to denounce the evils of smoking. The reason for that is because, I believe, like, his father, died of lung cancer and things
Fair
like
enough,
that.
yeah.
Well, no, I don't really agree with it, because this is fiction, and I'm sorry, my dad died of stuff related to his liver and smoking for, like, years, okay? But I don't want to ban it from books because I'm not a wuss, come on.
No, I mean, I can understand why he would allow that to influence him. I'm not necessarily agreeing with the action, but if a character wants to smoke, let him smoke. I don't give a shit, as long as it's not near me, and also it's fictional!
I think, like, Wolverine smoked, I'm pretty sure he can't die from that. That's why he does that.
Yeah, just try and kill Wolverine through, like, nicotine overdose. That ain't gonna happen.
Well, trust me, they've killed him through some other reasons, but that's usually, like, a big editorial mandate, things like that. He should get Magneto to rip all the nicotine out of his body.
I don't think nicotine's a metal, mate. Right, we're coming up to a very, very iconic bit of Disney animation right here.
Well, that's definitely true. Like, even if people don't really remember much of Pinocchio, they do have very distinct scenes that come up time and time again that people instantly pluck out, when they think of this movie. So it definitely has that. Like, I have to say, the animation is really good quality, for the time. Like, I'm loving all of the motions on the different characters. The cat, in particular, has a lot of very natural flowing movements. Like, there's a lot of care put into this.
Yeah, very expressive. But, wishing upon a star... Does it encourage trying to wish yourself to success? I don't know, let's ask the nostalgia critic. He seemed to think there was a controversy surrounding this, like, whole lazy millennial kind of shit. I personally...
Well, I was about to bring that up. I was about to make a fucking millennials joke, but did he legitimately say that?
Well, he seemed to think something was happening regarding that. I never personally thought of it that way. Like, I can kind of... see, again, like with the Joe Quesada thing, like, how he would reach that conclusion, but I don't agree with it. Oh my god, that cat's adorable!
That is a cute cat, and I'm really kind of. Oh wait, no, Siguro wasn't showing up in the whale because most of Pinocchio's stuff in terms of Kingdom Hearts was around that fucking whale. Like, okay, you didn't have an adventure in Geppetto's basement, fair enough.
Oh
So
my
you can't
god.
really fit the cat in there. But at the same time, I kind of wish the cat was in there because I really like that cat. Also, great system of a down song, Siguro. I really like that.
Geppetto's neighbours must love him, hearing like alarms go off at all times of the day.
Do you think that's where they got? Well, no, that would have been a separate book. That was in the original book with Peter Pan and the the crocodile that had swallowed the clock.
Oh, the TikTok motion.
Yeah, yeah, that thing. Because I could have sworn, this scene could have been directly inspirational for like the crocodile later on.
God, I thought I had bad snoring problems.
Even the fucking fish is snoring audibly. God, that must drive you nuts.
Wow. Jiminy's stand has the ability to stop time.
And he can move when in it. That looks really uncomfortable to sit in. Like, I understand the whole hammock thing, but that thing is made of, like, wood and not, like, a hammock.
Oh, Jesus, the aliens are here! Run, Jiminy, run!
No, don't worry. It's Glinda the Good Fairy about to thank Geppetto for killing the Wicked Witch of the... What was it, the South?
Pick a direction. You'll be right in 1 out of 4 instances.
Captain's log, I have appeared on a strange new planet.
And what a fucking, like, William Shatner overdub of the Blue Fairy here.
No, you should overdub the Blue Fairy with, like, fuck, what was his name? The Christopher Walken impersonation.
Ah, it's Jiminy Cricket. Gonna be a conscience.
Pinocchio, listen. You're gonna be a real boy, but if you lie, that'll make your nose grow, so don't do it.
Unless you're in a sword fight. Oh, you'll win every time. Wow, these impressions are fucking awful.
For a rare moment there, Pinocchio had become Super Saiyan Blue.
Nice. Okay, the Blue Fairy is voiced by Evelyn Venable. I think there's a little bit of trivia here. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Here we go. Future Broadway dance legend Marge Champion, then married to Disney animation director Art Babbitt, was the physical model for the Blue Fairy, acting out the character's movements on film for the animators to study. She had performed a similar task for Disney's Snow White.
The Blue Fairy is surprisingly, rotoscoping, realistically animated. And I know, like, later on, they use, like, various, real-life models to kind of help with the animation. Like, I know in particular, fuck, what was her name? The woman who played Rita Rudner, Slappy Squirrel. She was actually the physical model for Ariel in The Little Mermaid. Did you know that?
No, I didn't actually.
Yeah, it's actually a legit thing. So that's I know they probably still do that these days. Although I imagine with computer animation, it's a little bit easier to kind of go off of that.
Oh, here we go. Cricket's getting up on matchstick boxes, preaching their fucking, like, tales of honesty and whatnot.
Well, you had to do something before CNN got invented to expose your political views, Tom. Don't seem to recall, I don't think this is the same actress, but who played the Blue Fairy in Dream Drop Distance?
Dream Drop Distance. She was played by, I'm not stalling for time, I swear, prankster.
I think he's becoming Jiminy Cricket the White.
Nice. I come back to you now. The turn of the page. Fucking love his, like, get up and whatnot. The dark black, like, overcoat, you got the golden boots, and his swag hat.
I gotta say, he does look pretty, good for the design. I mean, magic clothes, they better look good, I'm saying. But can he drive with them? That's what I want to know.
Wow, he could have, like, a tiny little car.
Yeah, I want to see, like, a super Jiminy Cricket, and, like, his stuff gets all gold in that terrible fanfic I used to write.
Oh, Jesus. I'm trying to find some stuff on the Blue Fairy, but I can't for some reason. Okay, here we go. Skip this ad. God, you gotta go deep into the Kingdom Hearts wiki to find this shit.
And then the muses from Hercules come in while Jiminy Cricket's looking at himself.
Apparently, because there is a citation needed, she was voiced by Rosalind Landor in Dream Drop Distance.
Ah, I should know who that is, but I don't, so okay.
Okay, so a big part of this movie is going to be Jiminy basically trying to keep Pinocchio in check, because Pinocchio, he's an incurable prankster, and he's going to have to learn some lessons the hard way, because there's a lot of shitty people out there, a couple of them talking over this movie right now, and you really shouldn't be listening to us, Pinocchio, we're bad influences.
Pinocchio, have you ever heard of a book called The Prince? It's by Machiavelli, and I really think you can get a lot out of it.
Say, Pinocchio, you ever seen a grown man naked?
Do you like watching gladiators, Pinocchio? So basically, this makes Jiminy Cricket like the first life coach when you think about it.
Basically, he started it all.
Really, my problem with that is that he's not charging exorbitant rates to tell stuff that people already know. I just don't think it's very optimal for his business.
Well, they have to listen to him just talk in general. That's a price I'm not really willing to foot the bill for.
To this day, I still cannot whistle. I've tried, like, quite a bit, but I must be getting something wrong. It's when whenever I try to do it.
Oh, you mean like this?
You are just taunting me now, aren't you? No, hats don't talk, honey. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're just making fun of that man. You know, he's very physically imposing. He didn't choose to be that way.
What a beautifully rendered violin.
Well, I mean, it is part of the background. You don't really have to do anything else to it. Just kind of draw it.
Why, it just shows you how good of a carpenter Geppetto is, really. He probably made the bed he sleeps in. That's pretty hardcore.
No, he actually made his bedspread out of wood. That's how awesome of a carpenter he is.
Ah, okay.
Turns out Seagrow's made of wood. Did you know that? He's getting some good airtime in this movie, I gotta say. You know, I'm actually a little jealous, because I always like parkour. It looks fun, but it also looks really hard, so I can't really do it.
Yeah, and there's that, like, small little tidbit where you might die if you're not good enough at it.
Well, don't worry, if you just hit the red edges, you'll be perfectly fine when you're jumping throughout the city.
God, Jiminy, you're such a fucking pervert in this movie, man. What a horn dog.
No soliciting, sorry.
Wah, wah.
I made a giant mess. I can't whistle. Oh, no, it's okay. It's just my son.
I'm hearing voices in the dark. Figaro, get the night light, by which I mean the sawn-off shotgun.
What's worse is that Geppetto doesn't know what sound he hears. The sound of his puppet come to life, or the beating of that hideous heart.
He has a mini blunderbuss. How quaint.
I think those were actually like a thing back then. Like, I've seen some old guns, you know, like when they're trying to build up to like the history of the revolver or something like that.
Okay, I was gonna say, did you travel back in time or something?
Well, Wikipedia lets you travel back through time to the magic of reading.
Ah, okay.
And I have seen guns like those actually did exist back then. They weren't a good idea, but that was really the best we had at that time. Well, that's the first time that's happened to me.
Oh, I guess the acid I took before bed is finally kicking in. Oh my god, my puppet's alive!
Did they have acid back then? I know they had opium, like if we're going with the whole Sherlock Holmes thing, 'cause that dude used to smoke a ton of opium.
Oh, you ruined my horrible joke, why?
No, don't worry, I'm making it even more horrible. I'm improving it.
Oh, I feel it in my Geppetto giblets.
Oh, don't mention giblets and Geppetto in the same sentence. You know, the first conclusion I would draw is that Satan has possessed my puppet and that I would have to exorcise him, personally.
Yeah. I wouldn't think like a creature of benevolence like the Blue Fairy would be willing to listen to me, a poor, humble carpenter, and bring my son to life.
Where does Blue Fairy fit within the religious connotations of this? No, literally, this is like an actual question. Is she literally an agent of God?
Oh, yeah, getting a bit too heavy for me.
Because I always think it seemed to imply that she was, like, like Christianity was a thing in this universe. That has sort of echoed in some other early Disney films as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if she was legitimately like something that's supposed to represent an angel that has legitimately granted Geppetto's wish because he's a good, honest man.
Well, she's got wings and whatnot, so I guess angel works best. Right, a little bit of animation. Trivia regarding Pinocchio now that he's like up and walking on his own and whatnot. It took 12 artists 18 months to come up with a look for Pinocchio that was rounded and cute enough to pass muster. Animator Milt Kahl finally hit upon the idea of drawing him as a human boy and then adding the puppet's nails and joints.
That's actually a really good idea. That's like a legitimate technique. You take your end result and then you work backwards. And I really do think it's worked out pretty well. Like, they were actually able to kind of make it the best of both worlds in that sense. Dude, that's some NTR right there. That's sick, man. You should not be having that in your movie.
Jiminy Cocket.
Oh, we are horrible people.
Oh, very much so.
Oh, no, I was seeing Geppetto's legs for a minute there, and I'm not particularly sure how to feel about that.
Hey, they had to put a little bit of something for everyone in this movie, okay?
Finally, some fan service within the Disney canon, This was the earliest example of that. Can't you just, rub that on... Well, no. If you do it on the floor, that'd be a bad idea. Like, stop, drop, and roll, that kind of thing. I don't know. I've never been on fire, is what I'm trying to say.
I have. It's not fun.
You have?
No, I haven't, of course not. I wouldn't be alive to talk about it.
You can survive being on fire. I just want you to know that, right?
Ugh, whatever.
First instance of fish blackface back there. Not a, proud moment in the Disney animated canon.
Well, Disney makes mistakes. Look at fucking Jim Crow in Dumbo.
And Song of the South, which I don't think you can buy anymore now that I think about it.
Well, you might be able to on certain collections, but they're certainly staying stum regarding it.
I always did like that back there Jiminy slept in a matchbox and kind of slid it up over herself. I was actually a little bit jealous of that and kind of wanted to do that in real life.
Well, you were a kid at the time, so I'm not going to judge you for that.
Well, I was in middle school at the time, so maybe you should judge me about it a little.
Okay, judgment levels rising.
Okay, good, just making sure.
So yeah, now that Pinocchio is a real boy, he's actually going to have to go to school. Otherwise, Geppetto will be getting a little visit from the school officers asking why his son is being truant all the time.
It turns out, a social worker flies into the window, also has fairy wings.
Well, what's up? I'm the beige fairy.
No, it's just a fat old guy, yeah.
Yeah, just a beige fairy. It's like those fucking, no fun allowed fairies or Fairly Odd Parents.
Man, I cannot wait to fight Heartless in this town. It's gonna be nuts.
It's kind of odd how they never did a Pinocchio world. Besides, Monstro and Prankster's Paradise. And basically, what I'm trying to say is, they didn't make a world out of this town.
Well, let's be honest, not a lot is going on in it. I can see the decision to mostly focus on Monstro, where you could feasibly have fucking shadow monsters come out of his guts. These kids look really happy to be going to school, and fortunately that feeling will be quelled just as soon as they get inside. So wait, doesn't he have to register, Pinocchio as, hey, I'm going to this school? Can they just show up back then?
Yeah, maybe. I would just recommend that they keep him away from shop class, for obvious reasons.
Now that Pinocchio's a puppet that's alive, does that technically make him the first cyborg?
What?
I was just thinking about that, because he's wood, but he's alive. And in a way, a cyborg is half machine, half man. You see where I'm going with this?
Well, no, he's basically an avatar with a spirit, as opposed to, something that's mostly human but with enhancements.
Well, I suppose.
This is a dark line of thought, so I suggest we just watch this happy lad bounce to school and be all happy alongside him.
Yeah, nothing bad's gonna happen today, not with Pinocchio.
Vagrants.
Few questions.
Okay.
Why is there a talking foxman in this movie?
Quotas.
I'm sorry?
That's all you're getting, quotas.
Alright, second question. Why is there a talking fox man in this movie? And he's the only talking fox man I remember, and the whole village is a bunch of humans, and nobody bats an eye.
I don't fucking know, alright? It's Disney, I don't have all the answers. Oh, that's Gideon there, the non-talkative one. The talkative one, the big old fox there, is Honest John, and I believe I have some trivia about him. Let's see, I gotta scroll down here. I'm gonna find it eventually.
Here's some trivia. Honest John, ironically, is a liar.
Ah, okay, see, that's the twist. I love his voice.
You know, that's a good idea. Hey, here's another thing that can give you a huge fortune. A talking fox man!
What, you want a Pinocchio prequel focusing on John, is what you're saying?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Now that I'm sitting here rewatching this, I'm intensely fucking curious as to the origins of Honest John. I really am.
Alright, I'll give you a little bit of trivia. According to The Times, character actor Walter Catlett, who voiced the theatrical con artist Honest John the Fox, based his characterization on two famous acting brothers whose name started with B, presumably John and Lionel Barrymore.
Ah, and does it say who John and Lionel Barrymore is?
Nope.
Alright. You know, this was obviously a bit before our time, so I can't really recall these off the top of my head.
Oh, and here's the thing about Mel Blanc. Honest John's sidekick, Gideon the Cat, I guess he doesn't really get a full proper name, he's not emancipated as a talking animal slave yet, was initially a speaking character voiced by Mel Blanc, better known today as the voice of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and most of the other Looney Tunes from rival studio Warner Bros. But then the filmmakers decided to make Gideon a mute, like Dopey in Snow White, and all of Blanc's voice work as Gideon was cut from the film, save for 3 hiccups. Blanc also voiced Geppetto's cat Figaro in the scene where the feline sneezes.
Man, speaking of Dobie, I can't go into this story now, but the quest to make a movie around Dobie, you should read that article sometime. It's fucking nuts, and kind of a great insight into the development process at Disney.
Well, we'll save it for when we cover Snow White in the next Disneython, I guess.
I don't know. I think this guy looks trustworthy. I know in a few years he's going to be flying starships throughout the galaxy, and I can trust him then.
What's that a reference to?
Star Fox.
Okay. Well, more than a few years, I think. Try a few decades or so.
Look, I just know when Pinocchio discovers Nintendo, it's gonna blow his little mind.
If he's even alive at that point.
Well, we all know it happens, but presumably, if that hadn't happened at the end of the movie, he could theoretically live forever.
True. So yeah, Honest John, probably not as honest as he seems. He's leading Pinocchio astray here. And Gideon, I guess he's just like the mute hype man at this point.
You don't have to go to school, Pinocchio. Let me tell you about something called community college.
Ah, yes.
The ultimate scam.
What the fuck? Oh, nice job being late on your first day as a conscience.
Well, to be fair, he never really had a time card to punch in. Does he even get paid for this now that I think about it?
Of course he doesn't get paid for this. He was just there at the time. Any talking animals that are around have to become guides for, like, one puppet avatars. Shit, if John and Gideon were there, they would have got the job.
Huh. You know, I mean, like, first off, that's an interesting idea, and I kind of want that to stew in my head. Secondly, you know, I realized that I don't buy the whole Honest John shit because he's really out of fucking nowhere, but at the same time, I sort of buy Jiminy Cricket a little bit more. Maybe it's because he's always small and out of sight. Like, I can imagine, okay, this cricket's a talking animal, alright. But Honest John is just fucking fursuiting around town, and I really don't know what to feel about the man.
Please don't turn fursuiting into a noun, a verb, an adjective, or whatever the fuck it is.
Verb, the adjective noun.
See? It always goes back to hammers.
Well, at least they kind of tried to keep that in the movie a little bit. It's a nice little callback to the original novel.
Oh, John. Oh, Gideon's gonna get in a second.
Then Honest John comes back as an angry ghost. You know, this reminds me, I've been reading Redwall recently, and Foxes there are exactly as scandalous as they are in this movie. Although there's like one Redwall novel where there's like a fox that got raised in Redwall, and like he's sort of morally gray, and I think he dies at the end. But still, if you're a fox in Redwall or like a weasel or a rat, you're pretty much stuck in the particular role they gave you. Yeah. Look, it doesn't take that long to move a hat off the top of your head. Maybe you're just stupid. Stupid John, that's what I'm gonna call you.
While antics are happening on screen right now, I'll give you another little bit of trivia. According to a 1938 New York Times article, Walt Disney tossed 2,300 feet of footage. That's 2,300 feet of footage representing 5 months' work because it missed the feeling he had in mind.
Oh, I see. So, did he, like, throw it away? Did it get preserved? Is it lost to the sands of time?
Probably threw it in the bin with disgust, spat on it even, set it on fire.
Well, I'm not sure about the fire part, but yeah, that's... like, Disney was, like, a supposed perfectionist, wasn't he? That's what they said about him?
Sounds about right. Oh, this is really dodgy, using, like, today's context and visual cues.
Now it's dodgy. Oh, and that flower has a pickle in it, by the way, so you may want to get that out of there.
We're not going to see hide nor hair at this school, are we?
Probably not. I was really looking forward to it. Like, a true story. I actually went to, like, when I was in 3rd grade, 4th grade, I actually went to, like, a historical reenactment kind of, like, village. And they actually had us sit in a school hall, like, old recreated with, like, the typical teacher up front. And then he proceeded to scream the fucking hell out of us because we weren't straight up and flying right, like they did back in the old days. So we got our shit spooked in, you know what I'm saying?
Like, you kind of like speaking in code there. I'm not really sure how to pass that statement.
He basically acted like an old school teacher would, and he held some fucking order in that classroom, let me tell you what.
This dude scared the piss out of me as a child.
This is Stromboli himself, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he is kind of scary and not in an Iron Sheik kind of way. Honestly, it's not because of the skin color. It's because he's just got this general skivvy atmosphere about him. Much like most of the people Pinocchio seems to be meeting in this movie.
He meets, like, I want to say, like, 4 or 5 ne'er-do-wells throughout the course of the movie, and I believe only one of them gets eventually punished.
Nicely done, thank you. Alright. Well, he is doing a pretty good job, you have to admit, Jiminy. I would say, for his first day of being a fool, he's knocking it out of the park. Because he's Wood,
Stromboli. He has a funny joke with the puppet boy, no?
No, it's good. I don't beat him up later. No, I would, but I don't beat him up later. Man, I don't know, the act's starting to sing. Open with a joke!
Boo, get off the stage!
Do you remember when we were young? I gotta say, if they made a Pinocchio platformer, they should have had, like, that spinny move he did as, like, his main attack. Like Crash Bandicoot style?
Well, there isn't, like, a Pinocchio, like, platforming game, and I watched the Game Grumps play a bit of it, and it looked boring as fuck.
What system was that for?
It looked Super Nintendo-esque. It may have been Mega Drive.
Geppetto, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Have you considered homeschooling? Just think about it.
Yeah, I don't think Pinocchio is socially ready to go out into the big world. First day on the job, and, his conscience doesn't do its role properly, and Pinocchio gets abducted by 2 furries, and is basically being groomed to take part in, like, theatre work. It's all kind of scary, really.
Also, he's getting molested by lustful, adult lady puppets. I'm not really sure how to feel about that.
It's lewd! Get it off!
So Blue Fairy comes in. I'll just make it human. Hey, that's great. Are you gonna help him, learn all the skills he needs to be a human? Nope! Bye!
Fucking Jiminy, I swear to God.
That's not the only piece of wood I see.
A very tasteful portrayal of Russian women, and just Russian culture in general.
Well, this was the 1940s. No, they weren't in the war at this point. Like, it was 1946, 47, I believe, when America went into World War II.
Don't wait for an answer from me, by the way. I'm concentrating on, talking about one puppet boys here.
He's kicking his own ass. That's actually a pretty good feat. Now, if you do this move, you can double jump in the village level, and you'll be able to access some hidden coins.
Alright, land the joke, land it. Perfect!
Nicely done.
I find it hard to believe that Disney would do something so baseless as to rip off Ultron, by the way. Because, in their marketing, they used it first, that I've got no strings on me thing, and then Walt Disney saw that, travelled back in time, and made Pinocchio just so he could be first.
How incredibly convoluted of you.
Well, that's the Disney animated canon for you. Oh, I guess he's got money and won bitches now. Didn't have any need for old Jiminy Cricket.
And I knew a few bitches. I could've hooked them up.
Yeah, the credits just roll there. Look at this fabulous spread. Geppetto can't be poor.
That's true. Maybe he spent all of his money on it. You don't know. I mean, this is the first day, after all, that his fucking puppet came to life and he had a son. I would celebrate it.
Basically.
I'll blow at you.
But fish is best eaten warm and piping hot. Oh, fuck it, whatever.
Melt Blanc, I don't have to take this crap. That cat looks so mad, though. I love that expression.
That's me when people keep food from me, though. So, it's true to life. Let's see. 1 pile of gold for Stromboli, no piles of gold for Pinocchio, another pile of gold for Stromboli. Oh, it's all coming together.
Man, this guy was so hard to fight in Punch-Out's title defense mode. It was nuts.
He is a bit of a fucking caricature, isn't he?
Not sure that is the point. You are gonna feed Pinocchio, I hope. I have to say, though, this movie also makes some food I don't like in real life look really fucking good to eat.
Mm-hmm. We talk about the onions and whatnot.
Yeah, that was probably the tastiest onion I've seen, and I don't like onions at all. I'm sure that would have meant something if I knew what he said.
Here you go. Don't spend it all in one place.
What a punk.
Oh, I'm sorry. I believe I just heard you say you're going home.
Hey, you stopped me from drinking my fruit juice. Wink.
Wink. You see, Stromboli is laughing because you're a slave. You're going to get right in the cage. You're never going home.
Yeah, that's why you don't make the Iron Sheik, man. He'll keep you in a cage and make you humble.
So 1 cage as well, double the irony.
That's true, if only he had some upper body strength like Annie. I cannot imagine why nobody likes this man. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
Oh, didn't need that. Eyes.
The first instance of body language in the Disney canon.
Oh god, eyes. Puncturing themselves to escape the dark harshness of the world.
That is a ton of gold-colored chocolate he has, and, I'm sure he's going to enjoy eating that.
Must be near Christmas. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I told you this shit's fucked up at points.
Well, I am a one avatar, so I can't really feel pain. Have at it.
Don't worry, he's knocking on wood to make sure he follows through.
Pinocchio sure is learning some life lessons here.
Don't trust anyone. You're right.
But most importantly, don't trust furries.
Don't go outside. Don't do anything, really. Just kind of hole up, because that's what I would do, personally, at this juncture.
It's not just a prison, it's a travelling prison as well.
Stromboli's magical traveling prison.
God, the art in this movie is fantastic.
I know, like, the direction is really good and really kind of emphasizes the emotional tone they're trying to reach at certain points in the film.
Pinocchio's hopelessness here. I think there's a little bit about like the camera work here. Let me see if I can find it.
I wonder how they animated rain back then. Like, it's a very, like, a huge, oppressive rain. Like, we saw that shot of, like, the wagon being dragged. Like, I wonder how they did that back in the 40s.
Much of the film's visual richness comes from Disney's famed multi-plane camera, used to give the painted environment an illusion of depth. In Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which gave the multiplane camera its first real workout, the cinematographer could approach the multiplane setup only from above, but for Pinocchio, the Disney team developed what it called a universal crane that could approach the setup from any direction, like a crane-mounted camera on a live-action set.
Wow. I mean, it's really paid off for the technology at the time. The film generally does have that sense of depth and direction that really gives it, like, a huge visual presence.
The studio actually thought highly enough of the film's visual artistry that it staged exhibitions of original artwork at the Brooklyn Museum and two other New York galleries to coincide with the film's Big Apple premiere in February of 1940.
Yeah, I think they used to do that a lot back then, because I know, like, Fantasia, the film they were also working on, during the 40s, like, it actually got stalled as a result of World War II, and I believe they had to do some kind of shows, they had to move some sort of exhibit of, like, Fantasia as a result of that. See, Jiminy can't always be a freelance conscience forever. He has to know a few little tricks here and there about lockpicking.
Kind of gives a little bit of a look into what he was doing, how he survived before he met up with Pinocchio. Did somebody ask for a miracle?
Alright, I guess I'll have to go do this again. The Blue Fairy, I only get one.
What a bleak part of the movie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, at this point, he's basically lost the child for a good period of time, and that shit must be eating Geppetto up.
Oh, that's Stromboli going past there. Oh my god.
And he just narrowly misses him. I hate it when that happens in films, because you wanna tell him what's going on, but you can't.
Just want to reach in and give this old man a hug. Just tell him that everything's gonna be okay. And now Pinocchio's crying. Apparently, like, there's some form of, like, tear ducts within this one boy.
Yeah, let's question the logistics of a wooden puppet that's been brought to life, but the tear ducts, that's really what I want to know about.
Okay, you were the one talking about, like, the logistics of furries earlier in the movie, okay? Don't give me that crap.
Okay, fair enough. Let's just say that the movie does not make any sense.
There, Pinocchio. Don't cry, because there'll be plenty more opportunities for you to cry throughout life. You gotta ration them out.
I wish at this point he knew about lying so he could, like, transform his nose into a mighty sword to get them out of this mess.
Oh, jeez. Well, here come the aliens again.
No, she's actually here to give a wish to Stromboli. That's just the ironic part about it.
You see, it's not just good people who I grant wishes for, it's whoever pays me the most, haha.
It turns out Stromboli is the richest motherfucker this week, so I pretty much have to do this. Can you?
Because it was boring, ma'am.
Oh, I guess I can't argue with that. It is pretty dull. There was a furry at Say No More, Pinocchio. They've already been dealt with.
Now, obviously, I have to point out that noses don't grow in real life when people lie. Only the weight on your heart.
So does this make him like the first instance of Cyrano de Bergerac?
You're gonna have to explain that. It's far too smart for me.
Cyrano de Bergerac is a novel about like this, romantic, guy who basically has a huge nose, and he actually helps this other guy, court and get into a relationship with this girl by feeding him poems and things to say and things like that.
Okay. What? Pinocchio just birthed life.
So that's where they come from when you're a boy. Huh.
Is Pinocchio his own stand?
Maybe. What would I call this? Oh god, it's dying. It's dying. He's gonna die. I have to admit, it's a really odd weakness to give Pinocchio, because we've all seen the cartoons where if he aims it right, he can pretty much kill a man by stabbing him in the eye.
Now I can't think of anything other than the Billy and Mandy version. If you come near me again, Jiminy, I'm smashing you with a hammer. That's right, me, the Blue Fairy, doing it herself.
You thought it was going to be Pinocchio, but you were wrong, motherfucker.
Plot twist, bitch!
Because as you know, there is a union and they don't like me doing this.
Oh, I like how she opened the cage as well.
I think that Blue Fairy is swell. Oh no, sorry, I was lying. Stromboli's not gonna check on the puppet that he just caught.
And so Stromboli was never seen again. Probably he died after living a somewhat successful life. I don't know, nor does the movie care. Well, this is ominous.
This is where we go to get our quest for the latest adventure in Dungeons & Dragons, after all. The last thing we need is the Foxman drinking.
Yeah, ironically, when Honest John has a few too many, he becomes a huge liar.
I know, it's so weird, and he really needs to stop. I was always jealous that Gideon could do this, by the way. Make fucking smoke donuts. Because I really wanted one of those.
Oh, well. Do you still want one, now that you're an adult with an adult brain?
No, an actual donut will suffice, just as long as it's 0 calories. This guy looks skivvy, too, by the way. Is there no honest person within this movie besides Geppetto?
Oh, or John, because it is in his name. I'm not sure, to be honest. I can't remember what the guy's name is. Oh, the coachman, I think. The guy who voiced the coachman, Charles Joodles, also voiced Stromboli, so there you go.
Oh, okay, I see a recurring theme here. Terrible, terrible people.
That's some tasty gold, by the way.
I wonder if they did something like this in that Ever After, live-action Disney show they do. I don't know, I haven't really seen it.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about Descendants for a moment, and my mind shut down to protect my inner psyche from any damage.
I keep forgetting that Descendants is a natural thing. Are they gonna make a movie out of it? I don't know.
God, I hope not.
Yeah, that'll just ruin everything real fast. Can you imagine the thought of Jafar having kids? Ugh. Or Maleficent. Well, I don't know. Apparently Maleficent is supposed to be a smoking hottie. I don't know. I personally don't think that, but that's just me.
Time has not been kind, let's put it that way.
Yeah, ever since she became a dragon, you know? I think Honest John goes to Pleasure Island at least once a week.
Oh yeah, gotta drain the poison.
Fortunately, when you get to Pleasure Island, there's a little man in a suit going to play. Oh my god!
Yeah. That's borderline jump scare.
Just stream that for YouTube, you'll get a ton of hits.
Now, I know what happened with Stromboli. If I don't get the boy, you'll be headlining on Pleasure Island, but it won't be with roller coasters and whatnot.
Boys, I see bikinis in your future.
I see cornholes.
I'm going to school. School is closed. I'm sorry, you'll have to try again later.
Well, I'll wait, okay? I don't need to eat, I don't need to sleep.
Haha, nothing bad's gonna happen to Pinocchio now.
Ah, I finally found you, my boy. Come here, it's time for the grooming to continue.
Man, he is keeping up a pretty good speed, even though that stagehands hook is trying to pull him off. They are getting a fantastic workout, though.
Honest John, you're such a lying piece of shit, but I can't help but be entertained by your lies.
That's true, he's definitely larger in life, which makes him interesting and entertaining. What is a 6-letter word for dummy?
I wouldn't trust this guy with medical procedures, I'm just putting it out there.
Ironically, the only thing Honest John is truly honest about is when he's consulting people on what stocks to buy.
What material do you think Pinocchio's tongue is made out of? Is it a real tongue? Because he has, like, active tear ducts.
It could be felt, like living felt. Oh, let me just kind of finagle over here.
Pinocchio's heart, and then in brackets, remix.
Also, I think that was the same bottle back there that Stromboli was drinking from, his fruit juice?
Oh, of course, yeah. Just reusing assets, it's fine.
Well, somebody had to do it before EA. To bullshit! Unfortunately, I, Honest John, vent that considerably. So I can't remember, and I don't know if they do this later on in the movie, but does Honest John get his ass kicked?
As far as I'm aware, no.
He really needs to get his ass kicked.
Furries are a protected species in this world, I don't think you understand. We only see, like, him, Gideon, and I guess you can, like, Jiminy as an anthropomorphic figure. They've been hunted to near extinction, man. Give them a break.
I suppose. I guess that would explain Honest John's situation. I don't know.
Have you ever tried to hold down a job as a giant fox guy? It's not easy.
Now, holding down a normal job has always been difficult for me, I have to tell you. No, it's okay. Nothing's gonna happen today.
Oh, it's this guy. I forgot Carrot Top was in the movie.
So this movie is just basically Pinocchio's horrible parade into the real world.
Basically.
Just everything that could possibly go wrong this one day does. And I know we wouldn't really have a movie without it otherwise, but still.
Alright, Lamprick is voiced by Frankie Darro.
Is that like Frankie Muniz?
Possibly not. There's a lot of time between those two people. Pinocchio himself is actually voiced by Dickie Jones, and he'll also be playing a character we'll see on Pleasure Island called Alexander.
Yeah, the Ace of Spades is my favorite stable in TNA.
So, Pleasure Island, Hell Dragon, was this place appealing to you as a child? This place where boys could just be boys, there were no rules, apart from the multitude of rules that are going on behind the scenes, but did it seem like a fun place to you?
No, because it's fucking scary, Tom. It really is.
Like, even back then, you didn't see the appeal of a secret hideaway where boys can go and do whatever the fuck they want?
Well, I have to be honest, any appeal that may have had was quickly erased when we found out what exactly happens on Pleasure Island.
Okay. This is one of the best examples of, like, animation depth, though, in the entire movie. Just look at this shit. Just come in here and beat the shit out of each other.
I've always thought they kind of need that in real life, like a place where you just, like, go into a room and there's, like, objects you can just beat up to vent your anger.
That's called a gym, mate.
I don't know. I've gotten into a fight with barbells. It hasn't worked out very well.
Well, the trick there is to not punch them directly.
Yeah, true. Don't use your toes either. It doesn't work. Oh my god, I forgot this scene. They give them fucking smokes.
Yeah, not just cigarettes, full-blown cigars.
Oh man, this is getting a little bit more awesome in my eyes, this movie is.
That's gotta be cathartic, though. Just one of these kind of hoes to fucking destroy.
Didn't this happen when Brexit happened over there?
Oh, shut up.
Don't give Pinocchio an axe, and don't put Jiminy Cricket near him either.
Where is Jiminy during all this? Surely this can't be kosher.
He's probably processing this sheer horror he's unloaded.
Ah yes, my heartless will close the door. Why wasn't the coachman a boss, or at least a mini-boss, in fucking Dream Drop Distance? Because they went to, like, Pleasure Island, although it was called Francis Paradise.
I don't know. I don't really think he would have been very good boss material, let's be honest. Although he's got, like, fucking... I don't know, he's just skivvy as fuck. So, when they trash Pleasure Island, like, who rebuilds it, I wonder?
God, I bet they aren't paid enough, whoever they are.
Jiminy's not paid. The carpenters aren't paid. Honest John's probably not paid that well either. Should we be watching this movie? Try again later.
Meanwhile, in the giant magic 8-ball...
I am in the mood for a bar fight. Thank God they have a whole building separated, just for that.
Mm-hmm. Pleasure Island. A place where boys can be boys, have a smoke, do some fucking billiards, have some beer, play some cards. It's all good. No one's gonna judge you on Pleasure Island.
Oh wait, if I knew geometry, I might be able to make this shot. I know, it was a pretty good shot, I have to admit. This just reminds me of that scene in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where Uncle Phil was playing pool to, get Will at something. It's like, Jeffrey, get Lucille. And
Break out Lucille. Yeah, that shit was hype.
That was such a good show, man.
If we so rich, how come we don't have no ceiling?
Damn, Pinocchio, you got some lungs on ya.
Tote that smoke.
I'm surprised I didn't kill him, because he just inhaled a ton of fire and smoke.
Logic. Yeah, great.
It's good. Definitely don't want to kill myself, and I don't think I'll be having children anymore.
Right, 8-ball in whatever pocket.
Hey guys, can I hit this ball? All signs point to no.
Oh, Jiminy's not gonna like this.
Smoking without saving me one, Pinocchio?
He always was, kind of crazy when it came to not passing the blunt.
Yeah, see, that don't pick a fight with an 8-ball. You're never sure what you're gonna win or not. Well, Jiminy Cricket is kind of a shitty conscience when you think about it.
Yeah, you know what would have been a better conscience? A gun.
Or a paycheck, that tends to help. Hey, Pinocchio, don't get into trouble and I will give you money.
I will give you 50 lira, I guess, not to fuck about for the whole day. Okay, cool.
Was lira the currency they were using in whatever country this takes place in? I don't even know.
It's Italy, for the love of God, Eldragon.
Oh yeah, I'm totally keeping track of that.
Oh, with names like Geppetto and Pinocchio. No, it's gotta be France.
And then there's Honest John.
Okay, point well made.
I've been playing a bunch online, man. You can't take me.
What about me? What about old Jiminy Cricket?
Well, Jiminy, you never got me any bitches. I was getting to that.
Jesus, this is a 3-act movie, Pinocchio. Hold your horses. Okay.
Well met. Does that count as any points?
No, Jiminy Cricket does not count as points.
Are you sure? I would think he would. Why even have him as a piece on the game board? The evening at Dave & Buster's goes bad. Yeah, let's drink things from faucets we don't really know about.
Man, they make, beer and all, evil stuff. Evil, so it's a bit much. Bad stuff for you in this movie. Well, even bad's pretty, well, whatever. It looks appealing and tasty is what I was trying to get at.
You just want to get shit-faced, don't you, Tom?
I don't drink, actually.
Well, neither do I, but, being shit-faced always sounded good, but then I've seen it in action, I'm like, no.
Nah, I'm good, thanks. I abuse my body through Doritos, it's all good.
I've used my body through lifting weights that I shouldn't really be lifting.
What's with all these donkeys? Why are there so many donkeys? The Pleasure Island brochure already said there'd be a few donkeys. Oh, this is a terrible vacation.
These kids on the internet really like these little horses.
Okay, this one doesn't talk, it goes in column A. Sold to the salt mines, Jesus.
We have those now.
That's the guy. Also voiced by Pinocchio's VO. How terrifying is this? They basically groom these children, they bring them to Pleasure Island, let them become jackasses, do whatever to their heart's content, and the ones that have fully turned into donkeys, they sell on.
Wait a minute. they become jackasses. Oh!
You just got that?
Yeah, I got it now. Like, I thought it was just a donkey thing that was incidental, but no, they literally become jackasses.
What's in this shit? No more for Pinocchio, I'm all tapped out.
Yeah, I can see where all the furries are coming from. Oh, what the fuck?
So this was the coachman's idea, to repopulate the furry population.
Do they have like a GIF animation of that where Pinocchio just looks at his blunt and then just tosses it?
Oh, there's gotta be one. Oh, it's happening.
The sickness has caught you, my boy. See, if you amputated Pinocchio's leg, then the disease wouldn't have spread through him so fast. That's what they do to survive.
Why would a world that features such a force of good like the Blue Fairy allow this sort of thing to happen to children?
Why does God let bad things happen to good people?
I suppose so.
We are the walking donkeys.
You thought the coachman's, like, jump scare close-up was terrifying? Just watch this. It's not even, like, done with a close-up. Oh, it's happening. Oh, the fever.
Holy shit.
He was a particularly big jackass, so he turned much quicker than the others.
Slightly terrified, just a little tiny bit. Good thing this is near Halloween.
And if I recall correctly, the coachman is one of the guys who never gets punished. So, presumably, Pleasure Island does not get shut down, and the slavery ring continues to this very day.
God, I hate the people in this movie, and I really want them all to die.
There's a lot of unappealing people, but, you know, the goodness in the world shines through the hearts of people like Geppetto.
Yeah, and Jiminy.
Jiminy less so, but he's trying. God bless him, he's trying.
Pinocchio, you're coming down with the sickness! Dayland Whiplash changes! So let's go up Bald Mountain and let's fight Chernobog.
Oh, better than turning into a donkey, I guess. So what, is it like a vicinity sort of spell? Once you get outside the ring, it won't affect you anymore? It only, like... I don't know, man. I don't fucking know.
Did they ever explain how the coachman could turn people into donkeys?
No.
I'm just gonna let that sit, because this really is a dark world we wandered into, haven't we?
I'll tell you what I actually liked about the Prankster's Paradise world in Dream Drop Distance is the undersea bit. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it was the first instance besides, like, the remake, or just Chain of Memories in general, where you could go underwater just as Sora, not as, like, a transformation or anything.
Yeah, I mean, ever since Atlantica, you know, where that didn't really work out that well.
Oh, this is a sour turn of events. They came home expecting their father to be there. Alas, he is not there. So, are Figaro and the fish dead?
I guess it also turns out that Geppetto went to school. Huh.
Oh, the big school in the sky. Okay, well, Figaro and Cleo went away with Geppetto, that's good. The way Pinocchio's sitting here reminds me of, like, I think the very last episode of Tom and Jerry, or, like, one of the last ones. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, where they just kind of sit on the train tracks.
And wait for a train to come. Basically, wait for the sweet kiss of death.
You're in the wrong movie, stop. Go inside a giant whale, stop. I'm... Few questions. How did you know that?
Oh god, well, the Blue Fairy knows all. Also, here's something you may not have known. Do you know what it actually was in the original novel? Because it wasn't a whale.
Was it a giant hammer?
Oh no, on the horizon, it's coming out of the depths! Oh god, it's hammering the rocks to pieces! No, it was a shark, actually.
I think I like mine better.
Yeah. No, let's compromise. A hammerhead shark.
Okay, there we go. That works out.
Oh, brilliant. That is actually my favourite type of shark, by the way.
Okay, I got a joke coming up. Let's just wait for it.
Is it a tasteless joke?
Well, no, it's one you've heard before.
Okay, so yes then.
And so Pinocchio cast himself off. The gods of Olympus had failed him.
If it was me, I would have just cut to credits right there. But then again, I do like abrupt endings.
See, in the first version of this movie, like you say, Pinocchio has a undersea transformation. In future versions of this area, he just lets him walk along the floor.
Hell Dragon. Satire is strong within you.
I'd ask how he can talk underwater, but Honest John, so that's it.
Remember they used this area? It might have been this area. It may have been Little Mermaid in World of Illusion.
I think so, yeah. Like, I even remember the fish, too. We, encountered them when we were doing that game.
Yeah, Cleo's got a cameo in there.
Yeah, you could sink at the bottom of the ocean. Don't know about that air problem you might have, but it'll be fine.
Crickets don't need air. This has been scientifically proven.
You know what? I think you have a point. That's true, they don't need to breathe.
Yeah, let me just put my stone in here, okay? That's right, ladies, it's real.
Yeah, I don't think your echolocation is going to work very well down here, Pinocchio. Man, you remember that bit in Echo the Dolphin where he turned into a donkey and he had to go find Geppetto? That was nuts.
And the giant hammer comes out of nowhere. I'm sorry, that's the funniest thing. I love the vocal effect to, show that they're underwater and talking. It defies the laws of physics, but then again, so does Pinocchio. He is a sin against God, and he will eventually earn his place among all the damned in hell.
Well, I guess Honest John and that coachman will burn in hell too, so I'll have to take solace in that, I suppose.
If this world's taught me anything, the world of Pinocchio, that is, bad people triumph and good people lose.
Evil will triumph because good is dumb. Finding Geppetto.
Well, he didn't go to school, but he found one under the sea. Father? Wow, you look so different.
That's like that Dr. Seuss book. Are you my mother or are you my father?
Hello, Monstro, are you in there?
No, go away.
And so he died as he lived, inside a giant clam.
Good thing he gave the head his own little bubble. Oh, hello, you want to watch out for this? Well, it doesn't matter, because he clearly can, doesn't have to worry about breathing anyway.
I was gonna say, he looked vaguely worried there for no reason. Oh, I love all, the sea life on the rock, it's great. This rock's mine. This is Jimny's rock.
Gonna build an Alcatraz here. What is with the You know what? That just brought out some connotations now that I think about it. What if some of the boys in Pleasure Island were actually turned into seahorses?
I think you may be reading a bit too much into that, but it's an interesting theory.
Still a little scared. Can I be a little scared? Is that alright?
Oh, you always have permission to be scared.
Nothing bad's gonna happen to Pinocchio now.
Yeah, this is all pretty jovial, honestly. We're getting close to the, what I would assume is the bottom of the ocean here. Oh, watch out for Ursula over there.
I'm fixing to say, just the tentacles. I'm like, oh my god, that's Ursula.
I wonder if that's Monstro.
It looks like a sack of shit.
It looks like a huge, blistering tumour. A boil.
I'm not gonna go swim today. I'm too mad.
Anger-induced nap, that's what that is.
This is bullshit. I don't want to be in the fucking ocean. I can't believe it.
Oh my god, I would hang that on my wall. That's amazing.
I still think the Blue Fairy is kind of an allusion to being an agent of God, because if you look at this, it's basically
Jonah.
Jonah trapped in the whale.
Oh my god, are those meant to be graves?
Maybe. Ugh.
Many fishy graves. That was Mel Blanc. I'm really sorry I didn't bring any cat food with me, Figaro. I'm also sorry that I forbade you from eating Cleo. I'm a harsh master, but fair. Oh, bless you, Figaro, you trying. God, what a bleak movie.
Nothing bad's gonna happen to Pinocchio. Oh, I'm up. Alright, you woke me up. What's going on? I just love that little squint. He's like, don't you fucking dare.
Damn, man. Like, you thought Moby Dick was bad. Moby Dick's got nothing on Monstro. Oh, yeah, Geppetto's eating tonight, and eating well.
Well, it'll have to be tonight, because he's gonna make that stretch. Well, good thing he brought it. Oh, I thought he had a net for a minute there, but hey, this works out pretty well.
How is he going to cook the fish?
I don't know. He'll make a fucking chainsaw. He's made everything else in this movie.
Oh, God, he's not even a mammal. He's a force of nature.
And the light of the sun comes up. Nope, crickets first. I'm sorry, Pinocchio.
Just while this whole monstrosity business is going down here, oh my God, this is so metal. Do you know who voices the roars, Monstro's roars?
Who does?
Phil, that's spelled Thurl, Ravenscroft. Later best known as the voice of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes mascot, Tony the Tiger.
Wow, really?
Yep.
I do believe Mel Blanc at one point was also Tony the Tiger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see, it goes in circles and circles.
So everybody is doing cereal commercials at one point or another. Oh, I get it! Monstro! Because it's a monster!
The film literally spelled this out earlier, you dumbass! Yeah, that's right.
I just got a soak in that, I'm sorry. Then suddenly crosses over with Moby Dick and it gets a little bit more awesome.
Oh.
A spear for thee!
Yeah, Monstro don't need all these, it's fine.
I'm in the movie now. I'm sorry, he's having a little incoherent moment. Give him a bit.
Wait for it.
No, it turns out he was there this whole time. Geppetto was just too fixated on fishing, the ultimate sport.
Oh, stop kissing that tuna, put it down.
No, he didn't need a wife to go along with having a son.
Okay. Don't forget Figaro. Oh, he's adorable.
He is pretty cute. He's like gosh darn cute, even. And the fish, I guess.
Yeah, the fish is fine. I give you a little bit more, like, financial trivia for the movie. I probably should have said this at the beginning, but fuck it, I had to pace myself. The film cost $2.3 million to make, about as much as Snow White. It earned back less than $2 million during its initial run.
Oh, that's not a good sign. Although the movie is pretty fucked up, so yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's the next trivia bit. Some theorise that the movie did poorly initially because it's so grim. Pinocchio is terrorised throughout the movie, and 4 of the 5 villains who torment him get off unpunished. I think the only one you could possibly classify as being, like, punished was Stromboli, and that he just had, like, less than what he began with, really.
Yeah, I can see why. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, when people go to movies or they read books or things like that, they want a happy ending. Or at the very least, something nice and bittersweet, but reasonable, so.
Yeah, the film did eventually make a profit during its re-release in 1945. Disney would put the film back into theatres a total 7 times between 1945 and 1992.
Oh yeah, I forgot they actually re-released. They used to do that all the time. I don't know why they don't do that anymore.
That'd be great, just to see like The Lion King again on the big screen.
Well, I mean, they did that in the 90s. Like, they actually put commercials on it for TV. I guess because these days it's so easy to watch this movie, or, a lot of Disney movies. Although, again, there's nothing that really beats the experience of sitting there in a theater with popcorn and all that kind of stuff, and, just kind of watching that. Like, my theater, the movie theater I actually live near, has reclining seats. For all of them, it's fucking grand. You just kind of chill back, you got your popcorn, no drinks, because I don't like to go pee during a movie, except when it's Dragon Ball Evolution, because that movie sucked. And it's just the best feeling, man.
I'm going to rush through some of these more trivia things, because I kind of want to fit them all in. Paolo Lorenzini, Collodi's nephew, the dude who wrote the original novel, asked the Italian Ministry of Popular Culture to sue Disney for overly Americanizing his uncle's creation. Pinocchio's adventures, said Paolo, are an Italian work of art and must not be distorted to make it American, he stated. There's no evidence that any action was ever taken towards his complaint.
Yeah, well, I don't really think there was much to hold ground on, let's be honest.
Pinocchio, the film, won 2 Academy Awards for its music, an Oscar for Best Original Score, credited to Lee Harline, Paul J. Smith, and Ned Washington, and a Best Original Song prize for Harline and Washington's composition When You Wish Upon a Star. It was the first animated feature to win competitive Oscars.
Oh, okay. I mean, they're not going to get Best Feature anytime soon, but...
Ravenscroft, the guy who does the roars for Monstro, would land singing and speaking roles in many other Disney animated features over the next half-century. From Dumbo to The Brave Little Toaster, his voice can still be heard on such Disneyland attractions as The Haunted Mansion, Country Bear Jamboree, and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Also, Ravenscroft is one of my lesser favorite Dungeons & Dragons settings, but it's just due to the atmosphere. I tend to prefer Dark Sun myself.
Cliff Edwards, the voice of Jiminy Cricket, would actually go on to voice the role of Jim Crow in Disney's Dumbo, where he sang When I See an Elephant Fly. He reprised the role of Jiminy Cricket in numerous Disney cartoons over the next 2 decades.
I mean, hey, when you kind of land the one role, that's it. You don't need to do anything else. I mean, Ursula, Pat Carroll's been rocking Ursula for God knows how long.
Row as fast as you can, Pinocchio. Fast as your non-existent muscles can let you.
I thought he was charging up an attack there, like a legit beam. I want to see a Super Monstro beam, where he just fires like a huge Kamehameha out of his mouth.
Oh, you always want to see that.
I have to say, though, I always did feel it was a little bit straining when Kingdom Hearts tried to make Monstro into a boss. I never really felt it worked, although... The one that comes to mind, the boss of a Pinocchio war, was that fucking multi-technicolor lobster we fought in Dream Drop Distance, whatever his name was, and then he fought another one inside of the guy.
Well, in Birth by Sleep Final Mix, I believe, in the arena, the Mirage Arena and whatnot, or maybe something similar to that, there is actually a Monstro boss fight, a proper one.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I don't know if we got that in America, actually. At least, not at the time, because of what they like to do with their final mixes.
I guess with the collections, you'll finally be able to play that, who knows?
I suppose, if you want to buy the game again, yeah, sign me up, guys.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to buy a brilliant game like Birth by Sleep, what are you, mad?
It's not a brilliant game. I like it, but it's not brilliant by a long shot.
Go to hell.
But just as long as Honest John is there. If so, I will be happy.
I didn't come this far to let you die now, father.
Yeah, I'm the only one who can sink. You can't. They got some Superman music playing here.
Oh, I'm coming directly for you, someone who is very clearly not a fish. Oh, it's going to be close.
I say the final direction of this scene, this looting monster is directed really well. The tension is building up really nicely. Ooh,
nasty. Well. If the rush of water didn't kill him, crashing into the rocks probably did.
Next time, you go to school. Da-da-da!
Pinocchio just washes up when he's all in pieces.
Well, hell, the movie's been grim already. Might as well.
Well, at least I won't go without firewood tonight.
I am legitimately surprised that Cleo's bowl did not overturn with water. Kitty, no!
Kitty should never be sad.
Kitty's gone through hell in this movie.
Yeah, poor Figaro. Oh, it's about to get real sad. Just so blunt!
That's undignified.
It's just so blunt.
Yeah, it's like a smash cut there, man.
That's a popular GIF to use now, you know.
Nothing bad's gonna happen
Well,
to Pinocchio, man.
God, it's just like near the end of Snow White, where you think the protagonist is dead.
They did that a lot, where you think the protagonist is dead, but he's not. You know, like in that King and I animated adaptation of The King Didn't Die This Time, it's fine.
Oh, here we go. He's turning Super Saiyan human.
It's not his best form, but you know, it'll make do, I guess. You know, I'm so used to seeing Pinocchio as a puppet, or seeing him as a real boy always kind of takes me out of it a little.
A little bit, yeah, a bit too twee. Here's a question. What's his DNA made up of now? Is it identical to Geppetto's?
Well, half Blue Fairy, I guess.
So I guess, in the end, Geppetto really did get laid, and that's all that matters, really.
But ultimately, things work out in the end, thanks to magic, I guess. You know, the people never get punished, but you know, Pinocchio has learned a lot about trusting no one else except his father.
Oh yeah, this will lead to a definitely not fucked up view of how to live life. Okay, Helldragon, Pinocchio, what's your thoughts on this timeless Disney classic?
Oh god, I can see why it's so weird, so relentlessly grim and dark at times at the same time, you know? Oh, it's bouncy in the end. It's really not my favorite of the Disney films, but it was early in Disney's life, and later on they kind of refined things down the line. I'm not sure if I view it as a classic, but, you know, it's got its place in history, and I can respect that.
I think there's like a few pacing issues here and there, like particularly at the beginning and maybe towards the end, where it's just like, whoa, things are happening, but I feel it's pretty good overall. The animation's gorgeous, the voice work's pretty good, the songs are memorable, there's tons of like iconic set pieces throughout the film, and while it might not make it into my top 10, I've always viewed Pinocchio as one of those essential Disney movies, and oh my god, it even ends on a shiny to end all shiny, so you know what? Maybe 11. 11. For sure. Okay, guys, that'll do it for our HFC Disneython commentary for Pinocchio. We'll see you tomorrow for another one, so come back then. Bye-bye.